quantum entanglement, and telepathy. As part of the scientific approach, the concepts raised by quantum mechanics shed new light on the relationship between human consciousness and physical reality. According to the principles of quantum mechanics, the observer's intervention can affect the outcome of a measurement, suggesting that human observation can influence physical reality. The philosophical and religious implications of this phenomenon are diverse and have intrigued many. Sci Explore Hub. The observer's intervention is a fundamental concept in quantum mechanics, which states that the presence or intervention of the observer during the measurement process affects the outcome of the measurement. This means that observing the quantum system state can change the quantum state that we observe. In quantum mechanics, the observing scientist is not just a passive observer but an active participant in the measurement process. When the observing scientist interacts with the quantum system during observation, this interaction can influence the system state. For example, the quantum state of electrons can be in superposition, meaning they can be in multiple places or states simultaneously until measured. However, the observer's intervention can collapse this superposition state and determine the electron's exact position or state. This concept raises many mystical and philosophical questions and encourages further research to fully understand the functioning of quantum systems and the role of the observer. Now let's talk a bit about quantum entanglement, from which we can draw conclusions about telepathy. Entanglement is a concept in quantum mechanics that refers to the close correlation between the states of two or more particles or systems, even when they are distant from each other and separated by any distance. This means that if we modify the state of one particle, it can immediately affect the state of another particle, regardless of the distance between them. This state is known as quantum entanglement. Entanglement often arises as an example in quantum information and quantum communication. The concept of entanglement raises philosophical and scientific questions, such as how one particle knows the state of its distant counterpart, or how this phenomenon may impact space-time and the fundamental nature of reality. The principle of entanglement harbors mystical and intriguing topics that may seem inexplicable to human understanding. Now let's move on to today's topic, telepathic connection. Based on the principle of entanglement, the instantaneous connection between two particles or systems can offer a mystical explanation for telepathic phenomena, suggesting that the possibility of thought transmission between two individuals occurs through entanglement of particles. Let's discuss this further to make it clearer. If we were to apply the principle of entanglement to telepathy, the instantaneous connection between particles would allow for information transfer without relying on traditional communication channels, such as sound waves or light, for direct communication. In theory, the following could happen. If the electrical or chemical states of the brains of two individuals were entangled, then a thought or emotion generated by one person would immediately appear in the brain of the other person, even if they are far apart. Entangled particles can even become separated over large distances. In entanglement, the state between two particles is closely linked, regardless of how far apart they are. This means that modifying one particle can immediately affect the state of the other particle, even if the two particles are far apart. This phenomenon fundamentally transcends the boundaries of classical physics, where information can only propagate at the speed of light. However, according to quantum mechanics, the connection between entangled particles is instantaneous and not limited by spatial distance. In some experiments, particles have already been successfully entangled over large distances, such as between Earth and satellites. These experiments further confirm the reality and importance of entanglement in quantum communication and other quantum technologies. The exact mechanism of entanglement is not yet fully understood. One possible explanation is that entanglement between particles is a kind of connection that can occur when they are created or interact as part of a system, and then separate from each other afterward. However, potential entanglement in the human mind or consciousness would have many more factors than between two particles. The human brain is extremely complex, and numerous factors influence its state and function, not only at the level of atoms or cells, but also in the connections between neurons, brain waves, and other factors. Telepathic phenomena and similar events have been experienced or observed by many people, but the scientific explanation of such phenomena remains a subject of debate within the scientific community. It is conceivable that an intense emotional or mental connection between two individuals could create some kind of quantum connection between their brains. For example, if two people have a very close relationship and share the same thoughts or emotions, this intense connection could create some kind of quantum resonance between their brains. The concept of quantum resonance in quantum mechanics refers to interactions between atoms or other quantum systems that create resonance or vibration at certain energy levels or frequencies. The human brain is an extremely complex and dynamically changing system involving interactions between neurons, neural networks, and brain waves. These interactions allow the brain to perform various functions, including thinking, memory, emotions, and perception. During brain function, nerve cells or neurons emit and receive electrical impulses, and these impulses often synchronize or resonate at certain frequencies. This coordinated activity between neurons may enable the brain to function more efficiently during certain tasks. Utilizing the resonance phenomenon in quantum mechanics in the brain may indicate that neural activity could be somewhat similar to resonances or interactions between atoms or other quantum systems. This suggests that there may be mechanisms or processes in the brain that operate in a similar way to phenomena described by quantum physics. If a quantum connection were to occur between brains, information transmission could occur due to the connection between entangled particles. Changes in the state of one person's brain could immediately affect the other person's brain, as the connection between entangled particles would be instantaneous, regardless of spatial distance. However, the principle of entanglement may also be related to the concept of universal consciousness. The correlation suggested by quantum mechanics may indicate that everything is closely interconnected and that universal consciousness is omnipresent. We will definitely make a video on this topic as well. Thank you for joining us on this exciting journey, and remember, science and history always inspire us to make new discoveries. Don't forget to share your own thoughts, ideas, and theories in the comments. We're very curious to hear from you, and we'll be delighted to read them. And if you haven't already, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on future exciting content and discoveries. Thank you again for your attention, and see you in the next video.